Hello everyone! For this episode, we're going to tackle about appreciating the art of painting. When Vincent Van Gogh was not able to sleep well one night, he went out of the house and sat on a hill overlooking the village. The night was serene and the village lay down free from any form of disturbance. But the attention of the Dutch painter was captivated by the beauty of the stars that twinkled above the patches of farms and dots of houses. He wanted to hold forever the beauty that he saw. He rushed downhill. In the few minutes that elapsed, came back bringing his brush, palette, paint, and canvas. He painted what is celebrated today as Starry Night. It is one of the humanity's sources of inspiration and the devotion that leads the American singer and composer Don McLean to compose the song Vincent. So, what is painting? It is an art by applying colors to a surface to present an object imagined or real. Basic materials of painting are paint, canvas, wood, paper, and brush. Now, let's tackle about the mediums of painting. So first, we have the watercolor. As the word suggests, it is a combination of coloring materials and water. It is the most commonly used medium of painting, particularly among school children, because it is easy to use and available even in the small sari-sari store. Next is the oil. One characteristic of oil painting is it is glossy product that slowly dries to give the painter a chance to do some corrections of his art. Another, we have the tempera. It is one of the old mediums that persisted through the ages. It was well used before oil was adopted. Its mineral coloring is a mixture of egg yolks and ore. This medium is usually applied to a wooden panel that is made very plain with plaster called gesso. Next is the pastel. This is a stick paste made of powdered pigment. It looks like a crayon and it is applied like a crayon. Although it is very easy to avail and very easy to use, it did not attract the attention of the artist because its finished product is difficult to preserve. Next is the fresco. It is taken from the word fresh, the art of painting on fresh plaster. This medium flourished in the 15th and 16th centuries. Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel and Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper are examples of fresco painting. And lastly is the acrylic. It is a paint which adhesive element is acrylic resin. Contemporary artists use it because of its quick drying characteristic. Its good quality is that it preserves the freshness of the art through the long years. So those are the mediums of painting. Next is the art elements of a painting. Like other elements of arts, painting has also elements of its own which we are going to discuss briefly. Knowing them is a prerequisite in appreciating and creating this particular form of art. First, we have the distance. There are three distances to look for in a painting. The part of the painting closest to the viewer is called the foreground. The middle ground is the part between the foreground and the background. The farthest is called the background. It is important to train yourself to look at each of these distances, one after the other consecutively. In this way, you as the viewer will be able to take notice of and see things that you might have missed in the initial viewing of the painting. Next is the color. Artists use colors to convey feelings and moods within their painting. They can create a cheerful mood by placing bright colors next to each other. They can create a calm or gentle mood by placing soft colors alongside each other. Basically, colors can be divided into warm and cool colors. Warm colors includes red, orange and yellow, while the cool colors are blue, green, and violet. It is interesting to notice which colors the artist used, which one stands out, and how colors make you feel as you view the painting. When complementary colors, the blue and orange, red and green, yellow and purple are used alongside each other, they intensify each other and look extra bright. The artist also used black to tone down colors or shades and white to lighten them up or tints. Next is the light. Painters spend a lot of time studying the way light falls. They often experiment with light in their paintings, simulating natural light or using hidden spotlights to let you focus your attention on what they want you to notice in the painting. Light affects the color of the subject and objects in the painting to let it look real and solid if the artist shows the way light falls on them. Using of light and darkness also conveys particular moods in a painting. It is important to look for the light sources in the painting and describe their effect on the appearance of the subjects and on the overall mood it communicates. Next is the line. Artists use various types of lines like diagonal, curved, vertical, and horizontal to express ideas and feelings in their paintings. Be sure to look for various lines in a painting and note where they are and what they seem to convey. Next is the shapes. An artist uses shapes to express ideas. They may be circles, triangles, rectangles, ovals, or squares. When arranged close together, they help add energy to a painting. When placed far apart, they look more serene. It is interesting to find both small and large shapes in a painting, counting how many you find from each and noting the similarities they may possess. Next is the composition. Artists seriously plan how they will arrange elements like color, line, and shapes in their paintings. This is called composition. Some artists make a master plan before they actually begin the painting. Others plan as they go, deciding how to arrange things as they paint. The composition helps to draw the viewer's eyes into the picture and guides him or her as he or she walks through the painting. A composition is often likened to an invisible skeleton that holds the painting together. Next is the perspective. Through perspective, artists convey three-dimensional space. Perspective makes a flat picture look three-dimensional and it has depth. How an artist layers the three distances of foreground, middle ground, and background is one way he or she creates perspective. To create deeper space, an artist may make parallel lines come together. To give the effect of distance, the artist may make the objects in the background smaller in size, lighter in color, or less detailed. Lastly is the symbols. Artists often include symbolic objects in their paintings. A symbol can be defined as something which has a special meaning or a special message. Artists use them to express such ideas as life, death, hope, and faith in God. A painting may have hidden meanings within it, as expressed in the symbols the artist uses. For example, the sunflower in Van Gogh's paintings represents ideas of the sun, the south, and the hope. In paintings by Van Dyck, the sunflower symbolized the King Charles I. Next is the styles in paintings. A painting is called abstract when the painter does not show the subject as it appears in reality. The artist shows only his thought and feelings. At first sight of the painting, the meaning is not easily recognized. Other abstract painters present the figures in some recognizable forms, but they are presented in a misshapen manner. There are various types of abstracts which we are going to discuss briefly. First, we have the distortion. This is a kind of abstract which natural form or condition is twisted or distorted. there is a misshapen look of the picture presented. Another is the elongation. The character or the object being painted is elongated or extended. This is to emphasize a certain purpose of the painter. The Resurrection by El Greco, for instance, applied this style to mean that the spirit and not the soul goes to heaven. Next is the cubism. It is an abstractionism that is stressed through the use of some geometrical shapes such as cylindrical, triangular, spherical, and other forms at the expense of the other pictorial elements. And lastly is the mangling. The object is presented as cut, lacerated, mutilated, or hacked. This is not real-use kind of abstractionism. Another style in paintings is the expressionism. This was a European method that flourished in the first decade of the 20th century. In this method, the artist has a freedom to consider his personal style in presenting his subject or expressing his thought or feeling. There are many ways in achieving the method of expression. First is the symbolism. A symbolism is a thing or a single that stands for another thing. Applying dove, for instance, stands for freedom. In painting, the subject is not visible. A sign or an emblem represents it. Next is the fubism. It is a kind of style or movement in painting that is characterized by a thick pigment. Fubism is usually used to express a feeling of joy, comfort, or pleasure through extremely bright colors. A phobis is too much concerned on the brightness of the colors. Van Gogh's Starry Night is example of fubism. Next is the Dai Sim. The word dada is a French word meaning booby horse. It is a protest movement against the traditional outworn arts and evils in society. The Dai's artist tries to start outrage to undermine faith and dependence to an established institution. Next is Realism. A style in presenting art by fantastic or incongruous imagery produced by unnatural combinations. Surreal means intense irrationality or beyond natural. In other words, surrealism pictures out image in a form of a dream. And lastly is the futurism. It pictures out something in the future, like movies such as Star Wars, Time Machine, and Terminator. The same thing is portrayed in paintings. It exalts success in technology. Subject includes supersonic trains, jet, modern houses, and anything that relates to the importance of modernization. So that's all for this episode, and here are our references. I'm your teacher May, leaving this message of Robert Henry. Art appreciation, like love, cannot be done by proxy. It is a very personal affair and is necessary to each individual. Thank you so much!
Till I ain't no more gone.